Sie hören Sport und Musik.
Das Spiel ist aus! Deutschland ist Weltmeister!
Mario Götze! Mario Götze!
Tonight, whether you call it football, or soccer, a German American and a German in America dare to call it Fußball. German football from an American point of view. Let's add some buns to that hamburger and join them for the Schnitzel Boys Deutschland Hour.
Yeah, that's exactly what this is. It's the Schnitzel Boys Deutschland Hour.
Well, here on this, I guess Oktoberfest is over, right?
Oktoberfest, is it? Perhaps. I don't know. I mean, I'm 7th. For all who celebrate. Oktoberfest, ended yesterday. You are correct. It's not the fest. It's not the fest for all of October. It's just celebrating October. So it starts in September. Getting into October, yeah. Because it would be really hard to get into October without like a lot of alcohol and rides and things like that. How would you get into October if you didn't have?
I'm not going to pretend I know. I'm not going to pretend that I know the history of Oktoberfest because I have no idea what it is.
It's a giant. I mean, it's just like a carnival. It's like rides and stuff. And then there is a lot of drinking.
No, I know. I know what it is presently. I just I don't know what the roots.
What I'm sure where it comes from.
Yeah, it's like Oktoberfest is when the monks, when the barley harvest came through and the monks could finally brew the beer, and that was Oktoberfest or something like that. That'd be my guess. I don't know, but I have no idea. Do you know the history of Oktoberfest?
Oktoberfest originally took place in the 16-day period leading up to the first Sunday in October. In 1994, this long-standing schedule was modified in response to German reunification. Because of German Unity Day, which is now October 3rd, and that couldn't be... All right, so now it's... Now they changed the schedule, but what is the... No, it's just a carnival. It's a fair.
When I was a kid...
It's an annual tradition.
Yeah, but in Germany, there's carnivals and fairs every
It's based on King Ludwig's wedding. The citizens of Munich were invited to attend the festivities held on the fields in front of the city gates to celebrate the royal event. The fields were named Theresienwiese in honor of the crown princess, Therese, and have kept that name ever since. Although the locals have abbreviated the name simply to Wiesen.
This is Ludwig I, Aston, it's fine.
Ludwig I, Therese of Saxe-Hildburghausen was his lady.
Yeah, the boring.
And and so the precise origins of the festival and horse races remain a matter of controversy. However, the decision to repeat the horse races spectacle and celebrations in 1811 launched what is now the annual Oktoberfest tradition. That was the first anniversary of this wedding. So then it became an annual event. It's a wedding party.
And for the viewers at home, Bjorn didn't Google that. He just spewed from his personal knowledge.
Yes. But when I access certain parts of my brain, I just sound like I'm reading something. But I'm really just reading. I'm just reading the inside of my brain.
Of your mind.
Out loud.
The library.
Yes, the inside of my mind. Yes, not the internet or any kind of Wikipedia page. This is just That's why I don't have a big show on MSNBC or something like that, because when I read something, I actually sound like I'm reading it. That's a big skill if you're on TV. You read the teleprompter as if it just occurs to you.
That's why you didn't book Hardball. That's why you were up for Hardball, but you didn't book it. Chris Matthews booked it.
I did not book Hardball.
Yeah. Way too much like you were reading.
Because the irony is I wasn't reading. I was just reading the inside of my mind, but it just sounds as if I'm reading. So I couldn't.
You are your own
AI.
Unnatural. You are your own chat GPT. Yeah. Yes. The cool thing about Germany is there's a carnival every weekend. Doesn't matter where you go. There's going to be carnival rides. And if you're a kid and you spend your summers there, a la me, every summer it's always like, I get to go-kart or like bumper cars every weekend. The big thing, not the big thing, but the one that I always loved as a kid was Vogelschießen. Remember Vogelschießen?
Vogelschießen?
That might have been a regional thing. Because one of those things that is, for me, my German experience is very unique to me. But if I share it with a native like you, this is a good way for me to suss out whether something is like
was it something was a regular thing or just happened? Yeah, right.
Locally. But every summer up in my neck of the woods.
When your parents locked you into the basement, that was just you.
But they told me that was a German tradition.
No.
They're like, all German kids get locked in their room when they're too annoying. Now, this was something called Vogelschießen, and, currywurst and rides and bumper cars and stuff. And, I mean, it doesn't take a genius to figure out it's just the commemoration of the beginning of hunting season or whatever. Vogelschießen literally means
this wouldn't, you didn't shoot anybody?
No, it was just no, I didn't know. It wasn't, I had no idea about the hunting.
I'm not familiar. I'm gonna
why don't you
try to access that part of my brain again, to see if I can.
Mind. But I think it was to commemorate the ending or the beginning of hunting season. But that's just what it is in spirit. And up where I was in my neck of the woods, that was just another excuse to go to the Wurst to celebrate. And in Germany, carnivals come like in a package, just like. It's like, all right, it's carnival time, so the Wurst stands open up, the whirly wheels show up on the trucks. They all look the same. It's always the same setup.
It's sort of like the street fair in New York City. Right. You have these all summer, same like fairs elsewhere, the same 5 fried food stands, set up on different parts of the city, and it's all
German carnies are there. Yeah, right. Maybe not as German carnies probably aren't as dangerous as American carnies are, I think. But
I don't know. I think it's a similar demographic, I would say.
Similar demographic. Could be. Yeah, I mean, could be. I don't know. They were definitely a folk. And literally they're just there and they're like, I'm sure you see them on the Autobahn driving their trucks with like the whirly wheel, like folded up.
Put it on put it sideways strapped on the roof of a little VW Beetle.
Yeah. Well, I think they have real excavators, but yeah, it could be a little Beetle thing. Now, I remember once in New York, I was conned. I was so much money.
In Coney Island, that happened to me.
No, it was so weird. I was leaving UCB on 26th Street and 8th, and I was walking down to the C stop, and on like 24th Street and 8th, the little block was closed, and there was a fair. It was like a fair. So I walked into it. It's like, oh, look at this, and there was a guy where if you throw the ball and the thing, you get a free Xbox or whatever. And then I had to pay. I paid him like $20, like double or nothing. And I think I lost $200 in like 3 minutes.
That's
like, it's really easy. Just think it's an absolute scam.
And I just left to me in Coney Island.
That's Coney Island. You expect that though, but Coney Island is like at Luna Park. It's a little more regulated. This New York Street Fair, I was like, what is this? Where did these guys come from? And why was this legal?
This was not in Luna Park. This was on the boardwalk. This was many years ago, and I was with a girl who I was trying to impress, and I failed spectacularly. And I eventually had to walk away. Yeah, same with the Double or Nothing.
Honestly, it was probably the same guy, dude. Good chance it was the same guy, because it wasn't that. Knowing your history, that wasn't for an Xbox. That would have been for an Atari or something, But or maybe a Super Nintendo. Let's say Super Nintendo.
It was the guy's grandfather, I guess. It was your guy's grandfather.
Now in Germany, that's never happened to me. I'm not saying it doesn't, but it just feels like German is less scammy. But I could be wrong. I don't know. Maybe they are scamming.
Yeah, I think that kind of thing doesn't. Although, who knows? Yeah, maybe. No,
in Germany, my memory is just gingerbread hearts and Wurst, and then driving around in bumper cars.
And Vogelschießen. Every once in a while, a bird gets shot, but other than that, it's all Lebkuchen.
Yeah. Well, no. Did you find in your online brain where Vogelschießen?
I didn't. It doesn't seem to be. I mean, it's like it's
let me see if I can.
I got nothing. My mind doesn't seem to have anything to offer on this subject. It's like a Schützenfest. that's a thing. That's a thing that I remember. Schützenfest, where you kind of hunting season gets kicked off, and there is some kind of a carnival-like festivity, and people get ready to shoot things.
I found the Wikipedia article on it, but it's in German.
Oh, you did? I guess that has not. My brain does not have that article.
Oh, I'm gonna send it your way because your German is good. It's in Middle Europe.
Your German is good. You keep getting
better,
perfect tests.
Here, I'll try to translate this. Vogelschießen, regional, also called Adlerschießen genannt. So, Adler is what, hawk shooting, so bird shooting or hawk shooting.
Adlerschießen, hawk shooting, yeah, ein alter Schützenwettbewerb. So it's a shooting competition.
Yeah,
no, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, and I guess it's which means that when I was a kid, there probably was a whole shooting aspect to it. I was shielded from it or something. Like I wasn't part of that.
Yeah, you're supposed to shoot a wooden bird from a high pole. What could go wrong?
For me, it was just Wurst. For me, it was just currywurst and Lebkuchen.
You're like, I'm not gonna shoot. I'm not shooting nothing. I'm just here for the Wurst.
But you know who's shooting from a high pole, Bjorn, these days?
Who is shooting from a high pole?
RB Leipzig.
Transition. A transition. Well done.
RB Leipzig. I really didn't know. There was no specific topic. I guess we could talk the German national team, but I was like,
I enjoyed your episode title because I think this was a big weekend for RB Leipzig.
Yeah. I was like, we haven't talked about them in a while. They are one of the bigger clubs that no one really talks about much, which is funny. I guess, the only RB Leipzig gets a lot of flack for being who they are. So a lot of the topics are, should they exist, right? That's the main topic of RB Leipzig. But it's like, you know what? They had Marco Rosa. They held on to Xavi Simons and stuff. And it's like, I mean, all the big clubs dropped points this week, including RB Leipzig. Wasn't it a tie? Did they tie?
No, RB Leipzig won their game, and that's why they're in second place. They won at Heidenheim, 1-0.
1-0. Yeah, and everybody else, Leverkusen tied.
Everybody else dropped. Leverkusen tied at home against Kiel, which is now has put VfL Bochum in last place, and that's probably going to be there for a little bit.
I didn't want to say anything, but Bjorn, remember the pack of 3 that I established? They're splitting.
Yeah, we're definitely.
Like
St. Pauli lost to Mainz 3-0 at home, so their big win was so far a one-time event, and Hoffenheim got a point in Stuttgart, so they're still. But I think your threesome is still. But we're the worst one of the 3. I think that's now clear. It was a very lackluster, not even lackluster, a very never in doubt home loss against Wolfsburg for us, which was kind of touted as a must-win kind of game, just because of because it's not clear where the points are going to come from anytime soon. We have Hoffenheim on the road next, and after that we get Bayern at home, Frankfurt on the road, Leverkusen at home, Stuttgart on the road. So that's, by the time late November, early December rolls around, we could have the exact amount of points that we have now, which is 1.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like a lot of points to me.
No, me neither. So this was kind of hyped as almost a must-win game, and it wasn't close. It was 3-1. Wolfsburg hit the post twice and the crossbar once. So this could have been much worse, and there was really never any doubt that we were going to lose this game. Even though Wolfsburg they haven't been great either, but everybody gets a break when they're playing us. So yeah, I don't know. I guess now we have to decide how the team feels about Peter Zeidler, because they could either, do the thing that one does and try and get a new coach. But it's really not his fault. It's like the squad is just not enough. And so they could also just decide to keep him around and
fire him in the second division next year,
and have him and see how things go. See how things go in Bundesliga 2 before they let him go. So
I hate to say it, we're 6 rounds in, and as of right now, VfL Bochum is going by the way of the Greuther Fürth and being just everybody's little tramp donkey for the season, and they're going to end with an embarrassingly low amount of points.
I wish I could react with outrage and argue with you, but I cannot. I mean, the answer.
Yeah, what's the solution?
The solution. I mean, the solution is. There's no immediate solution. There's no money for more players. These players are new. There's been a lot of turnover. Maybe things will gel more. There's a couple of people injured. A couple people injured that are going to come back. That will make a difference. Bernardo especially will help the defense quite a lot. But yeah, the squad is poor. The starting 11 is so, and then the replacements are much worse. So there's also no competition for spots. So yeah, it's not a good situation. There's no immediate solution. So we're just going to be along for the ride.
Along for that ride. So that's your VfL Bochum. But you said you were in a very happy mood today. Why? Why are you? I am
feeling jolly. I can't even pinpoint a reason, much less a soccer reason. Certainly, it's not. It's not Bochum. I guess with Bochum, I have now settled into some acceptance, perhaps. So it's not as upsetting. It's not as upsetting that it's been. I don't know. I took a walk earlier. It was a beautiful fall day here in New York City. You have these 3 days where the weather is perfect before it gets between being too hot and then getting too cold.
That's right.
And today was one of those days, and so that was nice. That put me in a good mood.
Yeah, when I was in New York, it was always 1 week of the best fall weather you've ever had, which is my favorite weather of the year. Then a whole bunch of winter, and then 1 week of really great spring, and just a whole bunch of summer. It's just this is what New York weather felt like. Here in LA, everything's gotten rid of it. It's just hot. It's just hot every day. Today was 90 degrees again. 90 degrees, hot every day. Just sweating in my car, sweating at work, sweating at school. I'm just hot and sweaty. And literally, I want to take a vacation and just drive east for a while. It's I need to go find fall. So I'm seeing signs that say Halloween. I'm seeing the pumpkin spice stuff. Oktoberfest is over. I need to get in my car. I need to go east and don't stop driving.
Look at the colors. Yeah.
Right.
My wife took the dogs. My wife took the dogs to Vermont. She keeps sending me pictures of the beautiful foliage. Yeah, it's nice. It's a nice time of year.
Yeah. Are the cats jealous? They don't get to go.
The cat doesn't get to go, no. But she gets to roam the apartment in New York City.
I need to. I've been told, because I'm from North Carolina. I guess this is unrelated, so we shouldn't get into it. But pretty much, apparently, Virginia has the best weather or the most balanced weather in the country. I would love to find somewhere where it's a lot of fall, a little bit of winter, a lot of spring, a little bit of summer. And I wonder if that even is a place that exists, or what that would be. At least I wonder what that would be. It's Florida's swampy hot. North Carolina got a little too swampy hot for me even.
Well, Vermont is very nice. Is very cool in the summer, but there is a lot of winter though.
I used to live in Western New York, in the Buffalo area, and it's winter it's brutal winter for 7 months of the year.
Yeah, it gets very cold, right?
Right now, we describe in New York those beautiful fall days. Where can I find that for 3 full months? And I don't know. If
Germany kind of no. It's
I guess, but you would know. But Germany, my parents left Germany because it was too dark and too cold.
Yeah, it doesn't get. It's not. The sun doesn't always come out. It gets a little gray at times. Yeah. So
I think that was the extreme. Like it was just rainy. Deutsches Wetter. It was just like rainy and gray all the time. So
yeah. But the temperature is pretty moderate. But yeah, the sun doesn't always come out. That's the thing. Yeah. I'll look into it for you.
Yeah, look at your online database.
I'm gonna maybe read something from the inside of my brain. If it
I'm actually studying weather patterns at school right now, so I should definitely know.
Really? You're getting a very comprehensive education.
I am. I just looked at my transcript for what. So again, it's all unrelated. This is the Deutsches Fußball Hour. I'm getting ready to apply to transfer to schools. And when I'm done with I'm getting my bachelor's degree as an adult. I never finished it when I was younger. And when I'm done, I'll have gone to, I think, 6 different schools by my count. So it's totally weird little journey, a bonkers little journey going to all these different schools. And I'm doing well now, but I did so poorly when I was younger. I just looking at my old transcripts and be like, God, I need to fix all this or something. Because anywho, but yeah, I'm getting a very well-rounded education. I'm studying weather patterns and all that stuff. I'm studying Chicano history, which is a very West Coast thing. From the East Coast, they don't really even have that over there, but they should. And then other things. So I'm all over the place. But I should know where the weather is. Quiz Bjorn. This is for our friends. This is for our maybe friends with a Mexican heritage. What is a Chicano? You know what a Chicano is?
A Chicano?
Yeah. You ever heard that term?
It sounds sort of familiar, but I can't read anything from my brain right now.
It's a big thing out west here. It's like it's a term that means an American of Mexican heritage, but that heritage links to Aztec and Maya, not Spain. So it's American, so they're American, but of heritage from the old native peoples of the Mexican cultures. Okay. So it's like it comes from the 1960s Chicano movement, which was part of the civil rights movement. Because I'm from the East Coast, civil rights movement, you think Selma, you think Martin Luther King and all that stuff.
Right.
But on the West Coast, civil rights movement had a whole Chicano aspect to it of Cesar Chavez.
Sure.
A guy named Cesar Chavez and stuff. So it's interesting learning about that. And I always knew a Chicano, like Cheech Marin is a proud Chicano. He always talks about he's a Chicano. I just assumed that meant Mexican American. But I didn't know there was the aspect of it's linked more to Aztec. It's like denying the European identity of it. It's more
right.
We're from before Europe. Like we're from before all this. We're from before Spain. We're from before the California line. We're from before all of that. So anyway, that's what Chicano is. So I'm learning stuff like that. I'm all over the place, man.
Amazing.
I'm all over the place. And, I've got all sorts of good tips. So what do you think with the Bundesliga? Give me your big – what are your major response – like Bundesliga 6 weeks in, what are your major takeaways right now? What are your major responses? Do you think Leipzig is going to maybe get their year slowly?
I mean, Leipzig – they've given up 2 goals in 6 games. If they can keep that up, they're going to go far. They haven't lost a game. Yeah, that's good. I mean, we think of their attacking prowess, but that is good defending. And Peter Gulaschi has 5 shutouts in 6 games. That's pretty great. So, and everybody else. I mean, I think. The Frankfurt-Bayern game was wild. Where Bayern, and Bayern also lost to Aston Villa in the Champions League. So there's a little bit, there's a lot of talk online about the Bayern crisis. I think they're still playing quite well. They got unlucky with this. I mean, Frankfurt, they had 4 shots on goal, 3 went in. They sort of out-countered Bayern. I think all 3 goals were basically counterattacks, and did so very well. And I mean, kudos to them. But I don't think that means anything about Bayern. I think Bayern are still good. They're playing offensive, but then people saying like, "Oh, this is too risky." They get. I mean, last season they were more conservative under Tuchel, and that didn't work either. So they still gave up a lot of goals. So
I think with this weekend, they also were bouncing off their 1-0 loss at Aston Villa too.
Perhaps, yeah, they had the midweek game. Frankfurt was rested, and Frankfurt is a legit team. They have a very, very good team that we keep saying. So they're also kind of there to stay in the top group. Now, more concerning, I would say, or more, I don't know, concerning is maybe not the right word, but more of a head scratcher, this Leverkusen against Kiel result. There's a little bit of a sloppiness. I don't know what to call it. Like a lack of oomph on a complacency. I don't know.
Yeah,
like they're not as sharp. They're not as sharp as they're. I mean, there's no real. The personnel didn't really change. Obviously, the coach didn't change. There's nothing really to really hang this on, other than it just seems like they're not quite feeling it. I don't know. Like, they should not be giving points away against Kiel at home. Like, that just shouldn't happen.
They have to keep up with Bayern and Leipzig. Yeah. It's Leverkusen. We don't have a verdict on them. They're not the same team they were last year. They have a lot of the same DNA. They hold the ball well. They score late still. They seem to play a full 90. But the shine of last season is definitely off. And I don't know. It is early days, but I'm curious what Leverkusen going to look like this year. I wonder if it's going to be...
it's a real question mark. I think this like later Kusen thing maybe has they're now believing their own hype, and they think, oh, we'll just pull this out late, no problem. But that didn't happen this time. I mean, again, they were playing midweek, and Kiel did not. But I mean, come on. Yeah, that was crazy. They've given up 12. Speaking about defenses, Leipzig's given up 2 goals in 6. Leverkusen's given up 12 goals in 6.
Leverkusen beating Milan midweek. I was looking at Milan. So and that was they played really well against Milan. Like, it was only 1-0, but it was a dominating performance. I mean, Milan could have maybe stolen a point if they smashed and grabbed an equalizer, but that whole game was just Leverkusen's ball and Milan running or chasing around. So like I said, the DNA is still there. But yeah, it's funny for them to beat Milan, and then 2 days later, Holstein Kiel got a couple on them.
I mean, they, like I said, they gave up 12. They've given up 12 goals. They gave up 24 goals total last season. So last season they were averaging like 2/3 of a goal a game. Now they're averaging 2 goals a game against. So that's obviously that's not going to do it. So they have to tighten up.
RB Leipzig looked at that and they're like, we need to do that. And Leverkusen looked at RB Leipzig and was like, we need to do that. So they switched.
So
RB Leipzig,
and that's why they are now, and that's why they switched in the standings too.
Yeah, defense wins the game. Did you remember that masterpiece movie? It's one of the greatest movies ever made, starring Jean-Claude Van Damme and Dennis Rodman.
The Muscles from Brussels.
The Muscles from Brussels and Chicago Bull champion, LA Lakers champion, Dennis Rodman.
And
it was called Double Team. It's called Double Team.
What?
It was called Double Team.
I never saw it.
Oh, it's a great movie. Anyway, in the preview, it cuts to Jean-Claude Van Damme in his bad accent. He's like, offense gets the glory. And then it cuts to Dennis Rodman, and it goes, but defense wins the game. And that stuck with me. That I've never forgotten. I'm never gonna, Dennis Rodman, one of the greatest NBA defenders of all time, ballers of all time. And he's right. Defense wins titles. I mean, AC Milan, the famous AC Milan teams under Carlo Ancelotti, I want to say like they won the treble and they only scored like 20 goals all season or something like that. Maybe not like 30 or something like that. So good on RB Leipzig for upping their defense. Borussia Dortmund's always need to work on that. They still haven't quite figured that out. But Bayer Leverkusen, you can't be slagging off. Jonathan Tah, the hope of Germany, needs to be, you need to be back in top form again. And it escapes me. Who's the other center back for Bayer Leverkusen?
Wait, what? The
Bayer Leverkusen.
Who was the one that you were mentioning?
Tah and his partner, unnamed. Ta and his unnamed partner, who I am escaping at the moment.
It's
Hincapié.
Well, they often play. I mean, Tapsoba was most recently.
Tapsoba.
Or Frimpongs plays on the wing now with
Grimaldo. I guess he's a left wing.
But Frimpong played center back for a while. Anyway, yes, these guys are not. They need to tighten it up.
Violated defense watch.
Yeah, and things are not going well for Dortmund. I mean, Dortmund are doing great in the Champions League. I think they are top of that big table, right?
That's right. They beat Celtic 7-1.
Yeah,
which led all the MLS boys to talk about how much better MLS is to the Scottish League. That's all they get out of a score like that. And I was like, I don't know. It's against apples and oranges. It's not really the.
Well, we'll find out. We'll find out in the Club World Cup.
Will we? Will we? Are Scottish clubs in the Club World Cup? Who's at the Club World Cup?
No, I don't know. Probably not.
I was going to say, did Scottish clubs make it to the Club World Cup?
No, because you'd have to qualify. No,
Austrian clubs did. I know that. But
well, Dortmund doing very well against Celtic. Not so well this weekend. They lost to Union Berlin 2-1.
That's right.
And so yeah.
There are no Scottish clubs, by the way. I'm looking right now. It's Salzburg, Atletico Madrid, Juventus, Borussia Dortmund, Benfica, Porto, Inter, PSG, Bayern, Man City, Real Madrid, and Chelsea. That's the European group. Red Bull, Salzburg, and the rest, pretty much. I mean, the other don't belong. That's what I'd say. But there is some Red Bull Salzburg news related to the German national team, which we'll get to in a second. But yeah, do you have any other thoughts on the Bundesliga? We'll just plug on. Like Union Berlin had a good game against Dortmund, but again, Union Berlin are on borrowed time. I mean, whatever they do, as long as it doesn't lead to relegation, in my opinion, is good enough. Like they have that great.
They're.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, they're in sixth place again. I don't know.
Union Berlin's a second division club to me historically. So the fact that they have upgraded is good for them. And the fact they made top 4 is amazing. Like they don't have to make top 4 every year. They've upgraded enough. So as long as they avoid, 2 seasons ago they were 4th. Last season they were 6th, 7th, 15th or something. So maybe this year they're going to split the difference. We'll see. We'll see what happens with Union Berlin. But they definitely had Dortmund's number as Dortmund continues to just not hold on to their points. Like Dortmund just drops points left and right all the time. They're a club that's just used to, their DNA is just used to only gathering enough points for third or fourth place.
I guess so, their DNA. I mean, they had to win at home against Köln. Who was it? That was crazy. Anyway, they were very close to winning the title. But yeah, relegation. Yeah, everybody's safe from relegation except the 3 teams that you mentioned. Hoffenheim is trying to muscle their way in, but they have Bochum at home after the international break, so that's going to get them out of that zone.
Excellent for Pellegrino. Pellegrino Monterrey is on the hot seat, and at Stuttgart was going to be, but they should have won that game. Stuttgart got a very last-minute sloppy handball penalty, and were able to tie that game. And Hoffenheim should have ended that game with 3 points. I mean, which would have been huge. Like Pellegrino and the Hoffenheim boys are on the hot seat, but over the weekend was a very promising game for them. And if they got Bochum coming up after the break, then they're looking good. They're looking good. Speaking of the break, we have the German national team with 3. The big news with the German national team is they have 3 uncapped goalkeepers with them, including one Janez Blazvic, who we were not talking about not 2-3 weeks ago. Remember, like you're talking about how good Gulashi was. Well, when Gulashi was injured, Janez Blazvic took over, and he was so good that he became a German national team goalkeeper from his performances. But then I looked him up, and he was in Austria now. He left RB Leipzig, and he went off to Austria. He's at the sister club in Salzburg, Red Bull Salzburg. But anyway,
his performance is not without criticism there.
Yeah, and he's one of the 3. He's back in the German national team fold. So there's something with Janez Blazvic. But I mean, he's third choice, I imagine. The other two are Alex Nübel, the German little Wunderkind, right, who's been up and coming, and Oliver Baumann from Hoffenheim, I believe, right? Let me just double check. And of those three, the German national team goalkeepers, Oliver Baumann's on Hoffenheim, right?
Wait, what?
Yeah, Oliver Baumann with Hoffenheim. Sorry, I'm checking. Alex Nübel with Stuttgart, and then Janis Blauch, RB Leipzig. So the two goalkeepers that played each other over the weekend, they're our national team goalkeepers. Nübel and Baumann.
They wanted Bernd Leno, but Bernd Leno didn't want to go.
Oh, he said no?
He said no.
I'm surprised that Janis Blauch has picked over Bernd Leno.
He said he's not a newcomer anymore.
Well, but hold on. The goalkeepers now are 34, 33, and 28. I mean, Alex Nübel.
Well, this was his personal decision. He said they wouldn't promise him a game. They would say they would want him in the squad, but they didn't say he would play. And so he said, "No, I'd rather not go."
Bernd Leno's 32. He's younger than Baumann and Blažević. Huh. Good. Well, good for him. He's having a blast in London. He's like, no, I want the week off.
He loves it.
I'm going to Harrods. I don't want to fly back to dark gray Germany, sit on the bench. But, as someone like me, if a national team calls you, I don't know what it's like to say no. But I guess for players like that, they're over it.
Well,
someone like Bernd Leno, he's over it. He's like, yeah, I've done it. I don't know. Because I guess
I'll read you the quote. Sie haben mir gesagt, dass ich dabei wäre, aber kein Spiel bekomme. Deshalb habe ich mich dazu entschieden, in London zu trainieren.
Yeah.
They said I would be part of the squad, but wouldn't get a game, so I decided to train in London. Julian weiß, dass ich natürlich immer da bin, wenn sie mich brauchen und ich dem Team wirklich weiterhelfen kann. Julian knows that.
Yeah, sorry, translate first.
Julian knows that I'm always there when they need me, and I can really help the team.
He wasn't there this time.
He said, ich bin mit mittlerweile 32 Jahren kein Newcomer mehr, habe nie Ansprüche hinter Manuel und Marc gestellt, sondern immer abgeliefert und nie Sprüche geklopft. He says he's with his 32 years, he's not a newcomer. He never made any claims behind Manuel and Marc-André ter Stegen, and he has only played and he was never really vocal. And so now with all his games, nach all meinen Spielen in all his games, Julian und Andreas Kronenberg, the goalie coach, know what they have, and it would always be an honor for to play for the national team, and that remains my goal. But I guess.
Wait a minute. So I'm confused.
It's a little confusing.
The starting goalkeeper is injured for like a year, and there's no replacement set. So this is an opportunity for someone to take that job for a while, and maybe so good. The way it works in soccer is if you have your job and you're really good at it, sometimes you keep it. And this is that opportunity. So for him to say no to it, but then to be like, all these other words make no sense. It's like, but this is your opportunity now. Noya and Hagen are injured and retired, so we need a new guy right now.
What he's saying is, you know what you have, so you should, I should be the guy. And if I'm not the guy, then I don't want to come.
Okay. So he's just offended in the fact that he's not the starter. But he said I've never made claims to that. It sounds like he's making.
He hasn't. Well, now he's making claims. He's saying he's never. He's. I guess he thinks of himself as the number 3 guy.
Well,
and so he's thinking it's now his turn, and if it's not gonna be his spot, then he's not gonna come. He said he never, and that's what he's saying. He's like, I was always quiet.
Who's the better goalkeeper, Bjorn? Alex Nübel or Bernd Leno?
I think that's probably pretty close. No, you wouldn't say? It's not.
Yeah,
you think it's obviously Nübel?
Well, I think Leno has an inflated sense of himself. I mean, he went to Arsenal, flunked out, went to Fulham, a la Matt Turner, I guess. Although I guess he was the starter, he wasn't good enough, so they get a new starter. And now he's stabled at a lower level club.
He wasn't good for Fulham.
Yeah, he's been pretty good for Fulham. But does that make you the German national team goalkeeper? That makes you the American.
In a way, I'm not. I'm just translating. I'm not just the messenger.
I know, but I love that.
What he's saying is he's been the number 3. In the same way, I guess in his mind, he's saying in the same way that it was automatic for Marc-Andre ter Stegen to be the starter after Neuer's done because he's waited his turn. He thinks now it should be him, and if it's not him, then he doesn't.
Does anybody else think that? It's a weird. I don't know. I'm just like, it seems wide open to me. I didn't know Bernd Leno thought he was next, and personally, I would much rather go with. I don't know. I'd much rather go with a Kevin Trapp than a Bernd Leno, to be honest. But I don't know. I guess Kevin Trapp is injured or retired or something. Right. I don't know exactly what happened to Kevin Trapp.
What happened to Kevin?
Yeah.
What happened to Kevin
Did he play for Frankfurt over the weekend?
No, he doesn't. He's not playing for.
Is he injured?
What is the deal with him?
He's 34.
Injury. Yes, he is injured.
Yeah. So he's also on a long-term line. In my opinion, he's the third. He's the standby. But I guess he's also injured. So that leads you again another opportunity for someone like a Bernd Leno. I guess he was not offered the starting spot. It seems that Oliver Baumann and Alexander Nubel are your starters, but maybe one game each. Or who would you pick between those two, Nubel and Baumann?
Nubel.
Yeah, I think me too. Maybe Nubel will get both of them. Who knows?
But I would give I would give Leno a game if I think he would deserve at least a turn.
How did Fulham do over the weekend? Let's take a look here. Fulham lost to Man City 3-2. That's pretty respectable. They beat Nottingham Forest 1-0.
Fulham are pretty good. Fulham are this year. Fulham and Nottingham Forest are the dangerous midfield teams. It seems like this year, more so than. And he's been unquestioned their number one. That's not I think he's deserves a little more consideration. We don't think of him because he plays in England, but
I would definitely pick Bernd Leno over Janis Blažević. I don't get the Janis Blažević thing.
Yeah, for sure. And I think so did Julian Nagelsmann, but not enough to make him the starter. Or promise him a game.
Yeah. Well, we got Bosnia and we've got the Netherlands again coming up.
Bosnia
games.
On the road. Yeah. Nations
and
League
Netherlands
is for real.
It is for real, if you believe it.
It's like the Club World Cup.
They are glorified half
one of those big tournaments.
Yeah, but we have that 2-2 tie against Netherlands. It'll be good to see them at home. Maybe give them a nice win this time. And then our last two games after that are Bosnia and Hungary again. So home against Netherlands is our next challenge, which will be good. Always good to see a challenge team. And there you go. All right, so we got the German. So we got club football taking a break this week for another FIFA window coming up.
Yeah. How do you feel? You didn't like the September window, the October window. You're okay with?
Yeah. I'm better with the October window because the September window it's right when everything's starting. It's like hold on, everyone just spent preseason. The transfers just came in. Give him another couple weeks.
I had high hopes for the September window because of all the new players coming into Bochum, thinking that they would need that time, but they got another window, and we have should play your jingle. We have a friendly against Gerhard Struber and
I was gonna say is it
during the international break.
Is it time?
It's time.
Darüber is it mit Gerhard Struber.
Oh, what happened?
Oh, I don't hear it. Do you hear it?
Oh, I heard it.
Oh, okay.
For my white boys, also very important, and for my black boys. And
the way he says,
I can't.
The way he says the word.
Darüber.
We're doing it again.
All right, sorry. I couldn't hear that at all for some reason. Interesting.
Okay. Well, the way he says black boys is just so offensive.
My black boys.
Anyway,
I love it. That's why it's in there.
It's terrible. So Kern got a win.
Yeah, let's see.
I brought him up.
Beat
Ulm 2-0. No funny stuff. 4 points behind the promotion spots. Struber is killing it.
He's working
and we're gonna have a friendly against Bochum, so they're gonna get to pick up another confidence booster for them.
Well, I thought Struber would have been a great coach for Bochum. So, but I think Köln won that prize. So Struber and Köln is working. It's working pretty okay right now. It's working pretty okay
currently. It's currently working.
Currently, this is not a promotion spot, but we'll see. Because
until he gets thirsty.
Until he gets thirsty, or until there's some sort of racial divide in the team, because he does not know how to manage. They're in trouble. But as of right now, they're doing well.
So far, we're darüber mit Struber is here to stay as a feature.
Yeah. It's one of our most prized segments.
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
Do we have anything else to talk about Deutsche Fußball?
No.
Bosnia. What are your predicts against Bosnia and Netherlands? Give me your predicts.
2 wins. We're unstoppable. Kai Havertz is going to get a hat trick in each game.
Wow, Kai and a hat trick. Yeah, ever since we got the news that we should have beat Spain, I mean, we're afraid. We're gonna.
This is we're gonna roll over these lesser teams now.
Yeah, like the Netherlands.
Netherlands at home is no problem.